Hey guys, this video is to show you how to graph inequalities using what we know about lines. So your inequality is in standard form. To graph it, we want it to be in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So there's only two steps. It's the same two steps every single time. It's in standard form, and you want it to be in slope-intercept form. The first thing that we have to do is move the x. My x is positive. When I move it, it's going to be negative. All right, and so keep in mind, I'm moving it from this left half, I'm moving it over to the right half. So it's gone. So remember, none of these are like terms. You are not supposed to physically subtract 2 from anything. We're just rearranging the inequality, and what I'm going to have is no more x on the left, but I will have a negative 2x on the right. So step number 1 is we move the x. All right, then we bring everything down. You should have 3 things that you're dropping down: the y, the new x, and the constant that's now on the same side as your x. So I'm dropping down that, I'm dropping down that, I'm dropping down that. 3 things. And I'm writing this drop down as a step, but I mean it's technically not even a real step because I'm just dropping everything down. I'm not really moving or changing anything. Be very, very careful when you drop down this y. It's positive, so I'm good. This is now negative 2x, and because that said negative 6, it's minus 6. The last real step for you to do is divide by the number in front of y. So in front of my y is a 3. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. Everything gets divided by the number in front of y. So now y is by itself. That does not simplify, so I'm just going to leave that as negative 2/3. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. All right, so remember the whole reason that we do that is to figure out the slope and the y-intercept so that you can identify the graph. So in front of the x is the slope. The number by itself is the y-intercept. So I know I have a line. The y-intercept of my line is negative 2. And if my slope is negative 2 over 3, I'm going down 2 over 3. Down 2 because it's negative over 3. All right, so here's where we're going to learn what to do with the inequality symbol. Trying to find a different color. All right, so you can write these down. Here's what we do with the inequality symbols. For less than and less than or equal to, we shade down. For greater than equal to, we shade up. These 2 lines are dotted. These 2 lines are solid. So pause and write those down. So I have less than or equal to, which means this is going to be solid. And shaded down. So connect them with a solid line, shade down. There's the inequality. All right, and again, pause this, watch it as many times as you need to. All right, I'm going to follow the same thing for number 2. I'm going to move my x term over to the other side. This is a positive x. So that's gone. I have 3 things to move down. I'm going to move down this negative 2y. The x is now negative x, and that 4 is positive. I'm going to divide by the number in front of y. All right, there is something special that we have to do when the number in front of y is negative. There is something that we're supposed to do extra if the number that you're dividing by is negative. We have to flip-flop the sign when we divide by a negative number. So when I go to simplify this, y is by itself, but what used to be a less than sign flips to a greater than sign. A negative and a negative is positive, so this would be 1/2 x. And 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. So here's my slope. Here's my y-intercept. I can tell from my symbol that's one of the ones that is dotted. And now that I flipped it, it's a greater than sign. So I'm going to shade up. So my graph has a negative 2 y-intercept. My slope is positive, so I'm going up 1 over 2. There's my slope, up 1 over 2. It's a dotted line. Shade up. All right, another strategy you can use to find the correct graph is to consider a test point. So if I were you, I would just always use 0, 0. It's going to be the easiest one to use. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x and 0 for y. And I want to see true or false. Is this side greater than or equal to negative 2? Well, that whole thing is 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to negative 2? You might need to use your number line. Here's 0 on the number line. Negative 2 would be to the left. The bigger numbers are always to the right. As you go to the right on the number line, they are bigger. So yes, 0 is bigger than negative 2. Someone with $0 has more money than somebody with negative $2. So this is true, which means when I'm looking at my answer choices, here's 0, 0. This should be in the shaded area. Wherever your line is, 0, 0 should be a part of the shaded area. Whether it's shaded up or shaded down, it should cover 0, 0. So 0, 0, if it's true, should be covered. If 0, 0 came out to be false, then it should be uncovered. It should not have any drawing over it. All right, and then the other thing that you should look at to narrow down your choices, that symbol is one of the solid. So I would be looking for an answer choice that had a solid line and 0, 0 was a part of the shaded area. If you have multiple choices and that happens to be on more than one graph, then you need to pick a different test point. Pick a test point that one of them is shaded and a different answer choice is not shaded, and see which one comes out to be true or false.